Continuing my video series of the Three Body Problems / Remembrance of Earth's Past series, I decided to provide a plot summary of the first novel today for this video. You have to be patient with this plot summary because these books are quite dense, and I tried to be as thorough as possible, even though there was no possible way I could cover everything. But yeah, here is a rather long plot summary. Like I said, because these books are so dense, I wrote around 5 pages. So please be patient. But this is just to help people that are reading these books and to help make sense of it and give them a better reference for timeline and whatnot. So anyway, without further ado, obviously heavy spoilers ahead. So anyway, The Three Body Problem, which is the first book of the Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy, begins during China's Cultural Revolution and with the introduction of the character Ye Wanjie, who plays a critical role in the overall narrative. Ye Wanjie's father is killed in the Cultural Revolution, and her life under Maoist China is filled with suffering and oppression. She also witnesses the exploitative deforestation of China. Much of the plot of the first section of the novel focuses on the tribulations of Ye Wanjie and the evil she sees committed by humanity. Eventually, she ends up at a science facility called Red Coast. At this facility, a secret government project is underway to make contact with alien life using radio signals projected into space. Ye Wanjie is brought to Red Coast due to her scientific background. It is here that the inciting event of the overall narrative for all 3 books takes place. Namely, contact with a hostile alien species called the Trisolarans. This inciting event happens during the latter portion of the novel, but for the sake of clarity, I am stating it up front. Though the specific individual alien Ye Wanjie interacts with claims to be peaceful, the alien warns that its species is hostile and that if she contacts them again, they will come to Earth and conquer the human race. Given the pessimism she has developed toward humanity, thanks to her suffering and all that she has witnessed, Ye Wanjie invites the aliens to come. This is the inciting event that was previously mentioned. This brings us to the extremely important concept of the universe being a dark forest. Now, I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but this just has to be stated ahead of time again for clarity because these books are so dense. In this dark forest model of the universe, alien civilizations are everywhere, but hide their existence to the rest of the universe out of fear of annihilation from a superior and hostile alien species. In short, the universe is full of advanced life trying to avoid detection. This is an answer to the Fermi paradox, which states that the given amount of stars and the size of the universe, if there was life, we should have detected it by now. The Fermi paradox points out a lack of evidence for extraterrestrial life, while the dark forest theory points out why that lack of evidence may exist. Back to the plot. Soon it is learned that the Trisolarans face existential annihilation thanks to the chaotic nature of the 3-body star system their planet inhabits. This will be clarified further in a few moments. Back on Earth, 4 decades later after Ye Wanjie's contact with the Trisolarans, another scientist character is introduced, Wang Miao. Wang Miao is involved with the manufacture of nanomaterials. He is hired by the Battle Command Center, an international body of military, political, and security personnel, to spy on the unorthodox organization called the Frontiers of Science. This organization is primarily concerned with exploring the limits of science, with confirming or denying whether or not there is a limit to the extent to which science can understand nature. This is an important theme and concept throughout much of the novel. The important character of Shi Qiang, aka Da Shi, is also introduced at this time in the story. He is a detective, and pardon my pronunciation of some of these names. Obviously, I'm a silly Western white boy. All right, so the Frontiers of Science is an organization also connected to the epidemic of scientists committing suicide around the world. One of these scientists is Yang Dong, daughter of Ye Wanjie. Yang Dong was the girlfriend of Dr. Ding Yi, who, along with Wang Miao in a chapter entitled A Game of Pool, further illustrates the previously mentioned limits of science by showing that the laws of physics are not invariant across time and space. Soon, Wang Miao begins to see a strange countdown that appears on the photographs he takes as a hobby. Eventually, and disturbingly, the countdown superimposes itself on his visual field. It's almost like the numbers of the countdown are augmented reality, but generated with no technology, just his eyes. To rid himself of this scary anomaly, he takes advice from Shen Yufei, another fellow scientist, and he discontinues his nanomaterial work, which is on an ultra-powerful nanomaterial called Flying Blade. Shen Yufei proves to be correct, and the countdown goes away. Prompted by Shen Yufei's interest in an online virtual reality game called 3Body, Wang Miao decides to try the game himself. The game turns out to be a means to detect or identify recruits for the Earth Trisolaran Organization, or the ETO, and to generate sympathy for the harsh conditions of Trisolaran life. The ETO is an organization focused on assisting the Trisolarans take over the Earth. They are collaborators. The ETO consists of two primary factions: the Adventists, who have all lost hope in humanity and want to help the Trisolarans destroy humans, and the Redemptionists, who come to regard the Trisolarans as divine beings. The Redemptionists worship the Trisolarans and their advanced civilization. A third faction also develops called the Survivors, who intend to do anything to survive the invasion, including betraying humans to gain favor with the aliens. The harsh conditions referred to regard the chaotic nature of the Trisolaran planet inhabiting a 3-body star system. Due to this fact, the Trisolarans endure devastating and chaotic gravitational and weather conditions that constantly threaten the extinction of their species. In response, the Trisolarans decide to relocate to Earth and take it for themselves. This becomes the central conflict of the first two books and a significant one of the third book. It should also be noted that the Trisolarans are able to dehydrate and rehydrate themselves as a means to survive the chaos of their world. However, while this helps them survive, it is not a resolution to their extinction crisis, hence why they decide to relocate. As the Trisolarans make the 4-century journey to Earth, they are in contact and communication with Mike Evans, a leader and wealthy financier of the ETO. He owns the tanker ship Judgment Day. During her Red Coast days, Ye Wanjie met Mike Evans, who was attempting to save a species of bird from the harms of deforestation. Evans shares Ye Wanjie's pessimistic attitude toward humanity. She eventually informs Mike Evans of what transpired at Red Coast, and once Evans confirms her story, it cements them as allies. Both wish for an alien invasion to save humanity from itself and the Earth from humanity as well. They become the founders of the ETO. Soon we learn that the Judgment Day, Mike Evans' tanker ship, is a second Red Coast. As previously stated, he was in communication with the aliens. We learn that this communication is possible thanks to extremely advanced proton-sized supercomputers called Sophons. These microscopic sentient machines were created by the Trisolarans and sent to Earth at near light speed. Therefore, they have already arrived. They are responsible for interfering with Earth's science. They are responsible for causing the suicides of the scientists. This was accomplished by doing things like what was done to Wang Miao, namely projecting a doom countdown on his visual field. Also, Sophons function as nearly omnipresent surveillance devices that not only can interfere with technological development, but also learn of any strategies Earthlings may devise against the Trisolarans. Pretty much anything we do will be known by the Trisolarans. The Sophons are highly efficient spying machines. 2 Sophons were sent to Earth, each entangled with another that remains with the Trisolarans. The entanglement allows for the instant communication across light years. In so many words, the Sophons are always listening and spying, and they could be anywhere at any time. Thanks to the Sophons, the humans must assume everything they plan and discuss is known immediately by the Trisolarans. This creates a kind of Big Brother is watching panopticon situation. Returning to Mike Evans's communication with aliens, we learn that these communications have been stored on a hard drive on Judgment Day. The international authorities, wanting as much intelligence on their alien adversaries as possible, construct and enact a plan to obtain the communications. This plan, first conceived by Da Shi, is called Operation Gujang, I think is how it's pronounced. Forgive me again. And it involves using the nanomaterials developed by Wang Miao. The plan goes like this. As the Judgment Day traverses the Panama Canal, 2 pillars will be set up on opposite sides of the canal shore. Between the 2 pillars will be the nanomaterials strung to form a giant invisible slicer. When the ship passes through the pillars, the extremely strong material cuts through the ship and people alike like a hot knife through butter. Once the ship is reduced to pieces, the desired communications from the aliens are recovered. In the final chapters, all those in the Battle Command Center are beamed a message from the Trisolarans in the same way Wang Miao's countdown was projected onto his visual field. The message is a single phrase: "You're bugs." Rendered despondent by the grim circumstances and the bugs message, Ding Yi and Wang Miao find themselves drunk and losing all hope. It is at this time that Da Shi lifts their spirits and gets them back to work by showing them that bugs, to whom they were compared to by the Trisolarans, remain on Earth despite all of humanity's efforts to eradicate them. Just as humans have failed to get rid of the bugs, so too the Trisolarans will fail to get rid of the humans. Da Shi and the scientists do a toast to the bugs and their resilience. The book ends with Ye Wanjie revisiting Red Coast. At the cliff where she killed the father of her daughter, Yang Wanning, she bids farewell to humanity and her own life. And that concludes my plot summary of the first book. I know I left out a few things like Silent Spring and the concepts of panspecies communism, but there was only so much I could include, and this is already, as you can tell, very long. So thanks for watching.